Good evening, sir. So my name is Prince Raj. So my question is that to get into blockchain, is it pre-required of coding?
All right, good question. I'd say it helps, but not necessarily. It depends on what you want to do. I think certainly you could start to participate as a user and try to understand how things work without coding. So if you wanted to install a wallet and participate in a market such as this music market, pick something you're interested in, or get together with your friends and see if together you can find an activity that's a user level thing. You could do that right away without coding. If you want to build your own blockchain or develop software that's sophisticated, then that's a coding issue. There's no simple answer, but those are some examples.
Hello, sir. I am Ashwath from School of Law, and my question is about cryptocurrency. I don't think I've understood the concepts well, but my question is, so cryptocurrency. I view cryptocurrency as a mode of exchange. So, in the right now, there's a transitioning from banknotes to cryptocurrency, right? So, in the past, when John Law made a transition from using gold and silver as a mode of exchange to using banknotes, like there were like people were fine with it in the beginning. He took gold from people and issued receipts as banknotes, and everyone used it. But after a while, when John Law started to produce too much of it, people started protesting, and there were conflicts over that. So, do you think people would uh, continue to place their trust on cryptocurrencies on a long term?
Good. So that's a good question. It's something that I puzzled over and thought about a good deal when I was working with this Facebook group. Like, if they're going to create a cryptocurrency, what's going to give this thing some value? Why are people going to want to hold this currency? Why would I turn my good dollars into this funny new thing that's really just a bunch of bits in a computer somewhere? Think that sending a message to someplace somebody else would work. Why is that going to work? And what I came away with, convincing coming to the conclusion is the value of a currency is based on the market that supports it. So if there are many ways you can spend that money, as long as they persist and those are available, that will give you some assurance that the currency is worth something. So if you could buy food, if you could buy real estate, if you could buy tangible goods with the currency, then you know the currency has value because somebody will give you back hard currency for it. So I think that to me was the thing to watch in seeing whether the currency was valuable, is who would accept it as payment. And once you have that, then you have something of value. If people stop accepting it as payment, people stopped accepting gold as payment. There's nothing really that useful about having a pile of gold. It's just kind of the convention that we associate that with. We use that as a currency because it's durable and because people seem to want to accept it in exchange for goods. I hope that's helpful. That was my armchair economist, way of resolving it to myself. I think I can see you have a microphone, but I think you're muted there. Thanks. I don't think it's the microphone. I think it's the.
Hi, sir. I'm Tanya Kamakshi, and I have a question. So, what is the future of blockchain?
What is the future of this? So, I'm not sure how to answer that. So, I mean, this blockchain is a technology. There are many current uses of it. There are these widely used cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some less popular ones. There's also, maybe I'll give you another answer that's in a different space. There's an organization called Hyperledger. I think I have somewhere a picture about that. Hyperledger is a open source shared consortium of people working on blockchain technology for various uses. Here are some of the companies that have invested in that. These are some of the primary companies. Here's a bunch of other secondary companies that are also participants. There are really hundreds of companies that have decided they want to experiment with blockchain technology for the purpose of making something that they do in their business occur more efficiently. So I think that the future is a little bit of it is, to go back to this picture, some piece of it is in this money and banking area. And another big piece of this is, here's a way when you want to have consistent shared information across a lot of different organizations in different locations, as you would in any global company. Blockchain technology can be a very powerful and efficient way of maintaining a consistent record of things that have happened.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So I have two questions. So in the recent years, metaverse has grown in popularity. So how does blockchain fit into the metaverse?
Well, let me give you some answers. Some examples. I think the idea of blockchain, the technology is being used primarily for recording ownership and transfer value. And for one example, there are some gaming environments where success in the game earns tokens. Those tokens can be represented on a blockchain and exchanged with other players or used to buy things that are important in that virtual environment. So if you're a warrior and you're successful, you get some tokens, you use the tokens to buy another shield or another weapon or a sword, and accumulation of status in the game is based on tokens that are based on blockchain. That's a kind of example.
So my second question would be, so instead of auctioning and selling world famous art pieces, can it be converted to an NFT? And would there be any advantages by using this method?
I think what can be could be interesting in the physical art world, and this is sort of my speculation, but actually legitimate, or whether it was a forgery. I think there was an example in something very high profile, and I've forgotten what it was, of somebody had stolen the authentic piece of art from a place it was displayed and replaced it with a copy. I think you have the possibility maybe in taking very, very high quality representations of something and storing in some reliable way the provenance, the history around something to distinguish over time authentic from forgery. I don't know if that will really work, but that's one guess, let's say. You do have occasionally something about a piece of art there's controversy about whether it's
So
yes.
this is Mehan from School of Computing and Data Science. My question is cryptocurrency the final stage of currency, or can you picture another sort of currency which comes in the future?
Good question. I think it comes down to what does it mean to be a cryptocurrency? And so, this field is about, recording ownership, somebody's balance of currency holdings on a blockchain. And I guess I'm imagining, one possible future is that this is a good technology for interfaces between central banks. I was actually involved in some discussion. I don't know what's happened to the group, whether they've proceeded in the same way or not. But a group of central banks of 10 or 12 through the UN, large countries with large economies, we're looking at Bitcoin, at blockchain as a technology for managing the exchange of those currencies between, in a way that was sanctioned by the central banks. So I think it's, in a way, as a user, it's not going to matter exactly whether someone keeps your balance of how much money you have on a blockchain or in a bank. But my guess is the future financial infrastructure will have interconnections between all of those different kinds of organizations. Banks might exchange money between banks using whatever the best future technology is. And current indication is something like a blockchain, meaning something governed by a consensus algorithm among a number of parties, with none of them being the single authority, is a good method for banks to agree on a set of transactions. And it might be the best kind of method in the end for agreement between the organizations that manage each regional or national currency and the exchange between them. So it's a pretty general idea that, the store of, your store of money is no longer how many gold bricks you have in a box somewhere, but it's a digitally maintained number. And there is some comfort, I think, in having that number not stored by one bank system in one place, but distributed in a way that it could be recovered if there's any problem. And, some evolution of this technology seems like the way international banking is likely to go.
Thank you, sir.